Teachers of Reddit, what is the smartest / most creative way of cheating that you've seen? College physics, girl with a really intricate tattoo on her leg, wrote formulas in between the tattoo lines. Even looking closely you couldn't tell, unless you knew what you were looking for. You could tell it was test day, because she wore shorts. Reminds me of Prison Break. Immediately what I thought of too. There was a class that allowed you to bring one sheet of handwritten notes to exams. I knew a guy that created a font of his own handwriting and used to print the entire study guide onto a piece of notebook paper, front and back. He even set the font color to pencil gray and managed to get the margins and spacing exactly right to look like it had been handwritten. Modern problems require modern solutions. Age-old problems. My girlfriend works for a dental exam company, which are obviously super high stakes exams. Since the exams are worldwide, they have actually found people from one time zone paying people from another time zone to email questions to them right before the exam starts. There's actually a movie with this same plot, called Bad Genius, where a student takes a test in a different country that is a few hours ahead, and texts the answers back to others that have the test in a few hours. I watched this movie. It's inspired by a bunch of different cases of creative cheating in Asia. Not cheating, but back in the pre-internet days I once placed a midnight phone call from the eastern US to the reference librarian at the Honolulu Public Library to get a quick piece of critical information I needed to finish a term paper that was due at 8 a.m. My exams that used a graphic calculator, T84, required us to show the examiners a proof of reset screen before the paper started, so instead of actually studying for my papers, I painstakingly redrew the proof of reset screen pixel by pixel in the T84's pixel art program, and stored all my notes in it. Our calculator had a storage feature too. Once you open the battery cover it turns off, and on next start it shows the reset screen. We had to open the cover and let the teacher press OK to reset. No way of cheating here. If it's a T-calculator, set a really simple program to launch on startup with a fake reset screen and OK box. You all are such sophisticated cheaters. I just stuck a cheat sheet in the T cover and peeked at it when the teacher wasn't looking. Thanks, oblivious high school statistics teacher. Old school. During a spelling test, Miss, how do you spell piano? The spelling word was piano. Teacher went on autopilot and started spelling the word. One time in the 3rd grade there was a girl that didn't hear the word the teacher said on a spelling test, so she leaned over to me and asked what she said. Me being the good student I was, there was no way I was going to talk during a test. So you know what I did? I fucking wrote it down and passed it to her, not thinking I had just spelled the word out, and that would be considered cheating. Promptly I was caught doing this by the teacher and realized what an idiot I was. Edit, Silver? I don't even know her. Elaborate excuses told to teachers part 2. You have to live the lie to make it believable. This user is an example for us all. I was grading a written assignment that had a 1,000 word count minimum, and one particular paper just felt really short to me despite Word telling me it was roughly 1,100 words long. On a hunch I hit CTRLA, and sure enough after the paper concluded there was a lot of white nonsense text on a white background. That's gotta be the dumbest form of lengthening a paper there is. If you email a document, one click foils the plan, and if you turn in a hard copy, the white text doesn't even count. If you turn in a physical copy, you won't have a strictly enforced word count, probably a page count if anything. And 9/10 students don't email their papers, there will be a turn-in portal somewhere that typically doesn't detect the white text. I had physical copies in undergrad with enforced strict word counts. I barely hit the minimum once BC Word was counting my footnotes as words and I didn't catch it, and the tar went through and counted each word in the body of the paper and docked me the like 300 words that were from citations. Just curious. How long ago was your undergrad? That was quite a serious tar. Word counting is tedious work. Physics professor posted the answers to the homework online after it was due. Thing was, he was just making the existing pages visible and the URLs followed a simple and predictable format. If you knew the URL you could look at it before it was made public. One of my professors had file names like this, but actually the next numbered one was a Word document that just said nice try in it. Harvard wants to know your professor's location. The professor was Mr. Harvard. My sister-in-law is a teaching assistant at her kid's school. Her youngest daughter, my niece, was 7 at the time. She stole the test the night before, pretended it was homework, and had her mom help her with her homework, then sneaked the answers into the test. One of the other kids caught her, let the teacher know, and my sil, who was overseeing test conditions, died inside when she realized it was the homework sheet that she'd filled out. Your poor sister-in-law, that's got to be so embarrassing. My mum was a teaching assistant and I would never dare to do anything like that. I'd probably be grounded for a year and yelled at for eternity. Apparently her reasoning was that she was fed up of being in the middle group and really wanted to be in the higher group. I was a tar for anatomy and physiology. The professor would ask for me to sit in on finals to prevent cheating. One kid came in with a vitamin water. No worries. Halfway through the test the professor noticed they kept turning the bottle and squinting. This goes on for another 20 minutes. Professor goes up, grabs the vitamin water bottle and rips off the label. It had a crud sheet written on the back. The students had gone to the effort to make a fake vitamin water bottle label and write notes in the back. The professor was impressed by the creativity and decided to give the student a 0 and not report them to the academic committee. He should have just studied and done that, so he could write "suck fat nuts" on the inside, lol. Imagine if the prof notices him squinting at the bottle and angrily snatches it, only to realize it has "you can do it" Greg written on the inside over and over again. We believe in you, Mom and Dad. But every letter stands for a value representing a formula the student couldn't memorize. Edit, lol at student. Stretch a rubber band around a textbook, write whatever you want on it, then when you take it off the textbook, it'll just look like scribble, until you stretch it to see what's written. Spanish conjugations drove me to do some incredibly unethical things. How would you use those without looking suspicious? You could say it's a fidget thing, but it's risky. Claim that it's a religious thing. What religion? The ancient and most sincere order of the Bandy Boys. Used a text file on one of the original iPods. Teacher was fine with listening to music during tests. Made my life so much easier, lol. You should have made your own math rap album. And call it Quick Maths. 2 + 2 is 4 - 1, that's 3 quick maths.